Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing the Mr. Olympia champions post-Phil Heath era. I want to thank Supersetman, an amazing bodybuilding content creator who I'm sure you all know, for reaching out to me and providing me with these high quality pictures. I personally have felt that the champions after Phil haven't been the most exciting nor dominant, so this comparison will be really interesting to see which one would be the best. The competitors from left to right throughout the comparison go as follows: Sean Roden 2018, Brandon Curry 2019, Big Ramy 2020, Hadi Choopan 2022, and Derek Lunsford 2023. The way I'll be judging this video is through a point system. First place gets 5 points, second place gets 4, third place gets 3, fourth gets 2, and fifth gets 1. Now, before the video does start, if you guys could like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated as I'm trying to hit 20k. With that all being said though, let's get into this video. Alright, here's the first shot, the frontal biceps pose, and in this one, along with all the other poses in the video, I'll start with the least impressive guys first. That being said, this pose might just be the strongest one out of all of them, since every competitor looks really good. I do have to put someone in last place though, and I think that competitor is going to be Hadi. Sure, he has amazing conditioning and really good muscularity, however he looks too compact and doesn't have any standout features in my opinion. Next, I would have Derek and Brandon fighting for fourth and third. Both have extremely impressive upper halves with great V-tapers, but fall short in the quad sweep and overall lower body mass relative to their upper bodies. While Derek is massive, Brandon's superior conditioning and separation in the arms and quads gets him the win and the third place spot. Now we have the battle between Roden and Ramy for a top 2 and top 1 finish. A battle of, aesthetics versus mass. Roden definitely kills Ramy in the midsection and crisp dry separation in the quads, while Ramy demolishes Roden in the sheer limb size. It is really close here, however, Ramy definitely has one major flaw against the genetic marvel like Roden, and that is most certainly his wide waist. In my opinion, Roden flows so well and is so dry that it is hard to argue against his superior shape and flow. So Roden will definitely get first place in my opinion, while Ramy will place a pretty close second. The front lat spread is a very impressive pose for all but one competitor, and that is Derek. He looks really flat in the chest, shows minimal striations, and compared to the others, barely shows his lats. He also has the worst quads here, possibly due to the lighting at the 2023 Olympia, obscuring them in horrendous shadows, but even then, Brandon, who has some pretty bad quads too, is definitely beating him. Fourth and third place would be a close battle between Hadi and Brandon, as both have great upper bodies and are super wide and show good separation in the quads. Personally, Brandon's bubbly upper body and tremendous lats do enough to push him over the edge, and his quads don't look too bad next to Hadi's in my opinion. There is definitely a serious argument for Hadi here, as he arguably looks more complete. However, Brandon's crazy lats and tight waist are enough to get him third in my opinion. Now, between Ramy and Roden, the same top 2 as the front double, I think Ramy would edge Roden out ever so slightly. His overwhelming size throughout the lats, arms, chest, and quads are really too much here, even for Roden's near-perfect front lat spread. Ramy shows comparable upper body conditioning, and although Roden has more separation in the quads, Ramy wipes the floor with his dominant silhouette. This one is definitely really close like the front double, however, I think Ramy would take this one due to his, insane mass advantage. The side chest is a very good shot for all these guys, kind of like the front double bicep pose. Immediately though, I hate to do this guys, but Derek is definitely going to be relegated into the 5th place spot. His arms and chest are the least conditioned or show the least amount of separation, and this is a major weakness compared to all these other guys who have a lot of separation in the chest. His side leg is top tier, however, it almost seems as if he is getting out-conditioned and outsized by all these other guys. Next, I'd give fourth to Hadi since he too lacks in size, but handily, and I mean handily, beats Derek in conditioning. He might have the worst side leg in terms of size and detail, however, his upper half is very competitive with the best of them. Third place seems rather clear-cut as well, as I would give Brandon this position. His upper body is world-class, as his round fullness and picturesque midsection are among the best of all time, however, compared to Ramy and Roden, he does fall short. Alright, back to Ramy and Roden, a somewhat familiar top 2. We see a very competitive top-tier side chest pose from both of them. Roden is peeled, and I mean peeled, guys. Take a look at that side leg. He makes all the other guys look soft, even Big Ramy. Sure, his tricep doesn't bulge out, and he isn't super full, however, that dry, granite-like look to his physique almost reminds me of Dorian Yates. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, though, in that aspect. Now, Ramy looks amazing, too, as his side leg is the best in terms of size, and he has Roden beat in terms of overall mass. Personally, though, I have never liked the way that Ramy hits the side chest, as he sits too low and it makes him look really squished and unaesthetic. Compared to Roden, who looks godlike, Ramy really can't compete conditioning-wise, so I think Roden would take this win. Here's the rear double, and now it seems as if the tides have changed, as the two front runners, Ramy and Roden, might just be relegated to the 4th and 5th place spots. They both have the worst backs, but do have some amazing hamstrings and glutes, along with great arms for Ramy and great calves for Roden. To be honest though, that isn't enough considering that the other 3 competitors destroy them in the backs themselves, so I'd give Roden 4th and Ramy 5th. Although Ramy has the size advantage in the arms and legs, Roden's polished conditioning and clear-cut lower lat development get him that 4th place spot. Second place is a tough battle between Brandon and Hadi, as Hadi has the superior lower body whereas Brandon has a better upper half. If this was a 2023 Hadi, I think he would take this pose, however Brandon is much sharper in the upper half and matches Hadi's lower body conditioning, so I think he would get 2nd place. Sure, he doesn't have the same size nor sweep of Hadi in the legs, however his upper body is so dominant that he secures 2nd place. That leaves Derek as the clear-cut winner of this pose, as his legs from behind are amazing and his back is rivaled barely only by Brandon. Derek looks so sharp and conditioned, though, a far cry from the side shots and the front shots. The rear lat spread might just be a very similar story to the last pose, since Roden really isn't impressive in my opinion. He does have an amazing set of hamstrings, glutes, and calves, and the entire lower body as a whole is very impressive, and his conditioning is among the best, however his back is the shallowest of them all. Next, we have Ramy, Hadi, and Brandon all fighting for 2nd place, as it is rather close. Ramy practically looks twice as wide in the quads and back as both Hadi and Brandon, however they battle back with superior depth and conditioning in their backs. I think Ramy is a little bit too underconditioned to take any more than 4th place, as his width lacks muscular depth and his conditioning is kind of spotty. Between Hadi and Brandon, I've got to go with Hadi since his back looks twice as thick and a bit wider too, and his lower body dominance also helps him solidify his 2nd place spot, as Brandon really can't compete in the lower half. That being said though, I think Brandon does put up a really good fight in terms of overall density to the back, just Hadi looks a little bit better. Now, once again, this leaves Derek in 1st place, showcasing a ridiculously wide back relative to his stature, ultra-conditioned glutes, great overall legs, and great conditioning overall. The side tricep is also an amazing shot for all these guys, so it will actually be pretty hard to choose the 5th place spot. Immediately though, my eyes are drawn to Derek, as his midsection looks to be the worst out of all these guys. It protrudes out at the bottom, and it looks to be the blockiest one here. He does have a great arm, shoulder, and chest, along with a better side leg than Brandon and Hadi, which makes it really hard to decide where to place him. Hadi and Brandon both have comparable arms to Derek, but way better midsections, while only sacrificing a little bit of size and separation in the legs. While it is rather close, Derek would probably get 5th here. Now, between Hadi and Brandon, I've got to go with the latter for 3rd place. Brandon's bubbly round muscle bellies really stand out to me, and his hamstrings look way more impressive than Hadi's. Moreover, his presentation looks much more comfortable and natural than Hadi's, who looks really uncomfortable in the pose. That being said, the entire 5th to 3rd place spots are extremely close and could be rearranged. Like in the shots prior to the 2 back poses, Ramy and Roden make up the top 2 once again. Roden, who is hitting the variation of the side tricep that the IFBB now dislikes, looks phenomenal. Near perfect in every aspect apart from the tricep. His quads are nicely feathered, his midsection is diced and super streamlined, his chest and delt are round and bubbly, and he looks amazing presentation-wise. Ramy looks equally as impressive in his more conventional pose, showing off his deeply separated and massive side leg, huge arm and delt, and tight waist and great chest. Personally, I do prefer Roden here for his aesthetics. However, in terms of objective judging, I think Ramy would win due to the judges favoring a more conventional pose. That being said, Roden's unconventional stance would easily beat Hadi, Derek, and Brandon, as his shape and conditioning combo is far superior. Here's the ab and thigh, and right off the bat, I can tell you that this is going to be a battle for 4th place between Derek and Brandon. Both guys actually have very impressive V-tapers and great abs, however, neither have exceptional legs. Brandon appears to have a smaller waistline, whereas Derek has larger quads and lats, which accentuates his X-frame. Personally, I'd go with Derek over Brandon since Derek has a more impressive V-taper due to his larger lats and better swept quads. However, Brandon's shape is superior in my opinion. Fourth and fifth place could go either way, however what is firm is Big Ramy in third place, which may be kind of controversial. Ramy is huge and has the best quads by far in terms of size, which is enough to overpower Derek and Brandon. However, it isn't enough to beat Hadi and Rodin. Their conditioning is too much for Ramy, as you can see that both have way drier midsections and quads in comparison, and look much more refined and polished overall. So, between Hadi and Rodin, I'd probably go with Sean. His larger stature and resulting larger structure makes him look much more aesthetic and statuesque. While Hadi has a really impressive V-taper, super symmetrical and well-developed abs, and pretty good quads as well, Rodin beats him in almost every aspect rather handily as well. He has a better V-taper, better smaller midsection, and much more polished striated quads. I think this is an easy win for Rodin and a respectable second place for Hadi. The most muscular is the last pose of this comparison, and this one will be rather hard to judge due to the differences in their most muscular variations. Immediately though, the two that stand out the least are Derek and Hadi. Derek looks super washed out and lacks that thin skin separation that gives way to chest striations, while Hadi looks really good but doesn't jump out to me like the others do. Hadi really has no flaws though, just a lack of wow factor, so I think he beats Derek, who lacks separation and pop in the upper body. With those two out of the way, the top three narrows down to Brandon, Rodin, and Ramy, who all look impressive in their own rights. Rodin has immaculate shape and the best conditioning, but lacks size overall, and specifically sweep to his triceps. Ramy is the biggest and has a lot of fullness and freak factor, but is clearly the least conditioned, which is noticeable in the arms and chest. Brandon looks to have the best balance between size and conditioning, as his arms are round and full, his traps and chest are popping, and his legs are barely noticeable, i.e. hidden really well. Honestly, I'd give Brandon the win here, as he looks ripped and shredded in the upper body, carves an impressive silhouette, and doesn't showcase any real flaws by hiding his rather underdeveloped legs in comparison to Rodin and Ramy, who have the best legs of the comparison. I'd give second place to Ramy by virtue of sheer mass and muscularity, two key components of the most muscular, and Rodin third place due to his great shape and overall flow and amazing conditioning as well. Alright guys, that about does it for this video. To summarize this one, I had Sean Rodin narrowly winning this one by 1 point with 29 points. Ramy was in a close second with 28 points, Brandon in third with 26, Hadi in fourth with 20, and Derek in fifth with 17. I am not surprised that Rodin won this one, since he was by far the most polished and refined at the 2018 Mr. Olympia. He had amazing conditioning and aesthetics, and I would put money on him doing well in really any era with that 2018 package. I mean, for goodness sakes guys, he beat 2018 Phil Heath, who was near perfect in every aspect apart from his midsection. Ramy in second was also no surprise, as he might have been the freakiest Mr. Olympia after Ronnie Coleman. His sheer size, width, and muscularity, coupled with his freaky quads, are enough to rightfully land in second in my opinion. I'm also not surprised with Derek and Hadi comprising the bottom half, since they weren't, that impressive relative to the top two. However, I am shocked with Brandon, not because of his placing though. He was really able to, hold his own and battle it out with the top guys, something I wasn't really expecting. I did expect him to place within that, middle area, anywhere between third and fourth, but, I guess I thought that the lack of quad sweep that he had would hold him back. However, his insane upper body dominated, and I really was impressed with the way that he battled it out. Anyways, let me know down below what you guys thought about this video. Also, let me know down below if you want to see more collabs with some fellow YouTubers or even bodybuilders. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.